What's up, ladies and gents? Welcome back. This is Play and Rant, the series in which I play one table of 200 Zoom or some similar game and rant about a pre-designated topic. Today's topic is why I cannot stand live poker, why I will never be a live tournament player or even live cash grinder, and why I'm actually kind of repulsed by the whole idea of playing live poker on so many levels. I'm going to talk today about things like the high stakes live scene and stream games and what they do for the poker world. I'm going to talk about what it's like grinding live for a living and why I would never do it. I'm going to talk about the pace of the game. I'm even going to talk about other games I like way better than sitting at the live poker table. All of this while playing online poker, while playing Zoom and geeking out and talking strategy, as we always do. Hope you enjoy it, and don't forget to check out carrotcorner.com for all of our content, including our brand new mass data driven course, Grade E of the Carrot Poker School, that is dropping at the start of September 2023. Enjoy the video. Ladies and gents, we're off. This is the ranting chair that I'm sat in. We have our one table of 200 Zoom fired up here. We're good to go. Today I'm going to talk about why I hate, and YouTube block capitals hate, live poker. Reason number one why I hate live poker, and don't be offended by this, my friends, this is purely subjective. If you love live poker, that's great. I'm happy for you. I don't like coconut, and I don't like cherries, and I don't like marzipan, but I'm okay if you like those things. Like, I'm not bothered by that. We're allowed to disagree, although we forget this in this day and age. Here it goes. Reason one why I hate live poker. It's the obvious one. Doing nothing for hours on end. I've played a few live sessions in the last year when I go down to London to see my poker buddies, my fellow coaches at Carrot Corner, the people who help out the newer players in our Discord group. Bunch of lovely guys, and so I go down to London, I hang out with them, I go to the hippodromes, people come up, they're like, oh my god, Pete, you're so fucking famous. I love your channel, can you autograph my face? I'm usually like, sure, yeah, I'll autograph your face. Deuces is a fold, small blind versus hijack. Could creep in there against the recreational, but let's not. And then, apart from that, the actual poker side of things, like if I didn't have my friends all around me at the table and wasn't having a good time and wasn't drinking or whatever I'm doing, or eating like the octopus starter from the Hippodrome, highly recommend that, by the way, if you guys play at the Hippo in London, Open Queens here, I don't think I could tolerate it, because I've done nothing for like 3 hours on end at certain stints. Like, you can literally be dealt 8-5 offsuit, you can have hands that run at like 20 hands an hour, 23 hands an hour, something like this. Let's 3-bet this like 30% of the time or something. Roll the call this time if it folds around. Going to be folding now. I'm going to interrupt my flow lots in this session, by the way. This is a ranty session. I'm going to say whatever comes to my mind. Sometimes it's going to be about the hand you're watching. Sometimes it's going to be about the point. Just going to jump about a bit. You're going to have to deal with it. But it should be entertaining, I hope. So yeah, I've folded 8-5 off for hours on end. Too many times to count. And every time it leaves me with this feeling of, the hell am I doing? Like, why am I sitting here doing this? Why am I subjecting myself to this? Like, could we not just go to a bar? Like, do you know, recently, we've just started playing Werewolf instead of poker. Because live poker in the casino, 9-handed, is just so fucking slow. Like, it's unbelievable. I can't actually fathom how you guys out there, you guys and girls out there that play live on a regular basis can sit there and do nothing most of the time. Like, they're about 30 hands an hour, you're a 9-handed table, your VPIP is what, like 25? Not even at a 9-handed table, it's like 18 or something, 19? So you're playing a fifth of 30 hands. You're playing like 6 hands. You're involved in like 6 hands an hour. That's like a hand every 10 minutes. And some of those hands are just like you raise and everyone folds. Or you call and miss the flop and check fold. It's really rare that you get like a 30-minute period where you're constantly doing stuff. Like, it can happen and that feels good. And you're like, oh yeah, live poker's fun, until the next like 5-hour drought happens. That's reason number one. I just can't understand it. There's just so many better things you could be doing with your day, with your evening, with your life. Ace Jack. Clear fold against the 3-bet here. I just don't get it, man. I just can't go through the motions of just looking at 2 crap cards and folding them online. Fine, you know, fast fold, Zoom games, 4 tabling reg tables, 8 tabling reg tables, whatever. This is good. This captures my attention. Poker's a great game when you can get spots fast and furiously, and you can make loads of back-to-back decisions and feel immersed, feel like there's an actual flow. Like, how do you live players keep a game flow? Like, how do you stay in any kind of good mental state to be able to make good decisions? Like, that must be like operating on such a different wavelength to like what online people do or people do in many other games. King 9 here, I'm going to roll a bit of 3-bet. I think this is super just okay to do whatever with. We'll just go 50-50. I'm not going to overthink it too much. Go 12.5. Should we go 13? Should I go 13 for a little bit of scare factor? 13.5 for a lot of scare factor. Let's bully this man or woman out of the pot. Well, that went well. The good old 13.5 to bully people. That went really well. But hey, it's online poker, so after I Hollywood here, we're going to get another hand, like right now. And we're only one tabling, yet it's still like 50 times faster than live. So that is the number one reason why I hate live poker. Sometimes people are like, Pete, where's your Hendon mob? You never won a big tournament, bro? I'm like, no. I never played like a big tournament. I can't stand it. I don't want to. I like playing bridge tournaments. I like playing chess tournaments. I like competing in things in general. I'm a really competitive person, but I'm not going to sit at a table for 9 hours and fold 7 deuce. I'm not going to do that. So yeah, I have no interest in getting into live tourneys. Sometimes I consider it. People are like, when they hear you play poker, or they hear that poker's like my job, coaching it, they're like, so you must have played like loads of big tournaments then. I'm like, I can't think of anything worse to do with my life, sorry. Sorry to everyone out there that does play live. You know, this is not an attack on you or what you do. Everyone has different tastes, and, you know, everyone has different things they can tolerate and can't tolerate. But for me, yeah, live poker, can't tolerate it. Can't tolerate playing it. And I have some other points on some other aspects of this. 3-6 suited, super close against min. Probably just going to peel against min. Possible weaker player involved here. Flop the gutter. Not going to be doing much here. Let's move to point 2. Reason 2 why I hate live poker, and this isn't so much about me playing it, it's about the industry and live poker's place in the industry, in particular the high stakes domain. We just made a straight. Going to lead here because I think this button player will probably under-aggress. Check raise is fine. It's a little bit weird. I think lead is just the cleanest way to go here, and let's build around. Well, I think we can block or bet big, actually. Let's just roll both of those. I don't really care which one I pick. Block's fine, bet big's fine. Bet big might be a bit better than block. It depends how properly this player is protecting the old checking range here. So reason 2 is high stakes poker lineups ruin the integrity of the sport in many places where high stakes poker is televised. Televised, I mean, I don't know, computerized on Twitch, on YouTube, whatever. If you take a show like Hustler Live, just for example, right, high stakes streams like that, and they have these rich people who are not rich from poker, by the way. The majority of them are rich from other things. Maybe they have businesses. Maybe they just landed on a ton of money. I don't know, but they have a bunch of money. Some of them are probably rich from poker, but most of them aren't. And they're playing this horrific breed of the game, which is probably the only way to stay compos mentis at live poker. So fair enough. But it's like 6-4 offsuit. He's gonna open it up from under the gun, and that's a 3-bet from Nick Airball with the Jack-8 off. He's feeling frisky this afternoon. And then like 3 people will cold call the 3-bet with like 10-8 suited and ace-4 off. And I'm not saying this is every hand, and sometimes there are good players in these games as well, and there are strong people in the lineups and stuff like that. But for somebody tuning in that doesn't really know much about the poker world, this is call or 4-bet. Do I know this player? Could this be a... we'll just roll a bit of 4-bet here, a bit of call. I think that's going to be a 4-bet this time. Let's go up to 20. This is one of our 4-bet combos, of course. Take a couple of seconds, 4-bet it up. Hopefully we just get a 4-bet bluff through. We do. Doesn't happen very often, but, you know, it feels like it doesn't. These lineups, man, like, I get it. There has to be action, and these people don't want to sit here and fold, and, you know, you're a drain on the live scene. If you actually play, like, properly pre-flop live, if you actually dare try to play a decent strategy live, you're, like, some kind of parasite. So you have to play like a goofball, and because everyone else is as well, there's this like universal code or something that everybody can play like a goofball. Gonna roll this between open and fold. And then it's fine to just open like Queen 4 suited under the gun, King 5, by the way. Totally different hand than Queen 4. But yeah, I just feel like back in the day, okay, they weren't great players because in like 2006, there weren't any good players, well, there were some. But like you had like Nick Granu battling Phil Lack and Antonius, and these people were classy, man. They had a lot about them. They had a lot of personality. They were real somebodies. Like you could watch them just to be entertained by this clash of characters. It was really good. And now you just have, honestly, in my opinion, a bunch of really unwatchable, boring people. Like not boring in the sense that all they do is sit there, but they're just like, they don't have anything about them. Maybe it's just a sign of the times or whatever, and maybe it's just an era thing. Gonna mix this between bet and check. Checking this time, but bet is of course good. This hand will bet more than the global frequency, by the way. I'm playing a big bet strategy on this board though, so I'm probably betting range around 50% of the time and betting this hand around 65% of the time, but I rolled a check on this occasion, so that's a guess, by the way. I don't know exactly what I'm doing. Not pile solver, guys. Don't worry, I'm not actually pile solver. So against 2x pot, this is a decent turn size to use here. You can for sure do this. I think we have a pretty standard call. Be calling like 7s, 8s, 6, 7 hands like this over pairs. I think King 5 is just a bit too good to fold. I mean, it's getting close at this price, and I think we could maybe fold some terrible flush draw here, but I think the King High flush draw we're going to be peeling. Obviously, we do have a bit of like king queen. We have some sets. We have some straights here. Going to be bluffing river, of course, with the range advantage of check two. Villain's mostly going to have give ups. Sizing wise, I probably won't bother with block. If he bets, by the way, I'm just folding. That's why I'm not worrying about what I do if they bet. But if they check, I'm going to be picking a size between overbet. I could have some all in, I can have some overbet, and I can have some big bet. That'd probably be like the three sizes going on in that spot. Villain sizing scheme, by the way, makes a lot of sense for the spot. They're just basically saying, hey, I have a nut advantage here. You check back the flop. I have more straight sets than two pair, and my straight sets and two pair on that run out can just go for glory and stick it all in. Fair enough. I have to call some one pair there. That's really uncomfortable. Don't have to call a frail hand like king five that can't even beat all bluffs, though. Anyways, 8-7, probably just make this open, honestly, with this player in the big blind. So yeah, I think high-stakes poker these days really sucks compared to what it was back in the day. You could disagree with me, let me know what you think of high-stakes poker these days. And I feel bad for, like, I just wish there were, like, more good ambassadors for the sport. Like, sometimes I'm on, like, poker Twitter, and I see, like, people squabbling on Twitter spaces in the poker community, like fucking children, and it just puts me off even wanting to be a fucking part of it at all. Like, I look at some of the shit that goes on in the shenanigans and stuff, and it's just like, man, are we just a stunted bunch of, like, mentally ill people? Like, is that what poker players are? Not everyone's like that. There's a lot of people in poker I really like and respect, but you do get that from time to time, that it just looks like a bunch of, like, really immature people just behaving like squabbling kids. But then again, I've served on bridge club committees with quote-unquote well-to-do 75-year-olds going at it like children, like the poker people do on Twitter spaces, so probably it's just humans. Probably it's just humans. Queen 4, I think we could fold anyway, even without the 3-bet there. So that, yeah, that's point number 2. Okay, moving on to point number 3. Live poker table chat. This is the fucking worst. Okay, I've never played in a lineup with, like, lots of good players having good table chat, but when people try to talk strategy at the live table, it's one of the most cringy things, and, like, obviously I just ignore it, and as a coach, I'm not gonna, like, start trying to take that persona to the live table and start educating your opponents. Don't worry, guys, I'm not gonna do that. But when you hear people say things like, I had to price you out, I knew you were on the draw, you got ace king, you're flushing, like, just every time I hear a comment like that, but these people that have no fucking concept of what on earth they're talking about, they're utterly deluded. The worst part is that most of them think they're actually quite good at the game, but they have never looked at, like, a sim in their life. They've never understood how the game actually functions beyond the sort of cesspool normal parlance in the card room where people just throw around the same fucking terms and copy each other and obsess about not losing big pots and protection and just get it all completely wrong, like misunderstand the very fabric of the game. It's just quite difficult, and every time I hear one of these comments at the live table, it chips away a little piece of my soul until there's nothing left, until it's just like an empty cavern where a soul used to be, and I'm just like, man, I need to leave the casino. I need to be in a place with windows. You know, that's another thing. That's not on the list, by the way, but not having fucking windows, that's pretty grim. Like, if you made me work in my office and took my window away, I think it would be a matter of days before I went totally insane and was unable to do my job and function. Daylight's pretty important. Another thing with live poker is that you have to spend so long in the casino, like, to put in a decent amount of hands, you have to do, like, 10-hour stints and stuff like this. Pure 3-bet here against the recreational player. Hand's just too good. Gonna pick a sizing that I could fold to a jam, just to leave that illusion. I'm gonna call it off, obviously. This guy decides to cold call. This is really gross. If this guy jams now, it's a little bit closer than normal. Really good flop for us, though. I think betting is better than checking here, probably, although I honestly don't hate checking this spot. Everybody in the world bets here. I wonder if there's any amount of, like, total spew going on from button if I just check here. Yeah, I think I could go either way, actually. I'm not convinced that bet is, like, clearly better than check here. It was my instinct, but the more I think about it, check definitely has advantages as well. So I'm not really sure what's best. I think both plays have a ton of merit, and you could go either way. Obviously, a really high EV spot. The villain calls. This is going to be, like, some ace, king, ace, queen, ace, jack, ace, 10, 5s, 3s sometimes, ace 5, ace 3 sometimes, 9s, 10s, jacks, stuff like this. Now I definitely think betting is better than checking. This range is really condensed. I just want to get 2 streets here. This is weird though, like, sizing wise. What do we want to do sizing wise here? Like 18.9? That's got to be the sizing, right? Something like that. Villain jams. Spot's kind of disgusting. I mean, the pot odds are just so good though. I don't think we can fold regardless of what this player does. If they put it in, they can still have weaker ace X. This player can have draws. They can have ace 5. Yeah, we're going to run into, like, 4s, 7s sometimes here, but yeah, easy call. Let's go. Nice. Hold one time. One time, baby. Is he going to cash out? Yeah, That's why I hate poker in general. That's not a reason I hate poker, but losing pots is definitely something that makes you hate poker in general when it happens back to back to back. But you just have to grow a thick skin. You have to just become a little bit less bothered by it. So right now, let me describe how I feel when that card comes. I feel instantly disappointed and disheartened. And then there's like a wave of like feeling that way. And it disperses within about, what's it been, about 10 seconds now? 15 seconds. Yeah, I'd say it's gone. With that exhale I just did there, inhale positivity, exhale negativity, and all of that, I've definitely now got rid of it. Ace-6-2, not doing a lot of betting here. I'll bet this hand sometimes, but it's mostly just check for range. If you think the spot's a range bet, you need to go back to poker school. The carrot poker school, to be precise, will teach you how to get sucked out on when you're a 3-1 favorite on the turn all in. That's what we do. Again, on the turn, I think you can start bluffing this now. I don't think it's too far up in range. You can use some overbet, some big bet, and some check. I'm going to check this time. Who the hell can have a flush in a spot like this? Not live players. Live players do not have flushes here, I'll tell you that much. I might overbet. I mean, it's so weird, this spot. I feel like I'll never ever get bluff raised if I bet smaller, which makes overbet a bit better, but I think I'll just stick to the B75 game plan here and not get too inventive. But yeah, whatever. Definitely a spot where you're trying to get blood from a stone a bit there after the third check. Villain's range should be folding a ton by that point. Anyway, so yeah, live poker chat's pretty annoying. I put you on ace-king, I put you on a flush draw. Are you flushing? I had to protect my hand, I had to price you out, I had to bet a sizing you couldn't call. Would you have called if I'd bet this sizing? I should have done that then. Man, I thought you were trying to milk me. This is a value-y sizing. All this shit, man. Just all this shit. You bluffed with 8 high, ha ha ha, as if you should be bluffing with a pair, as if that's better. Just so much shit that goes on at the live table, and it's really hard to stomach. Next is going to be the elongated variance. So variance live, it's actually less from a hand to volatility basis. So when you're thinking about like how much ups and downs there actually are over 10,000 hands, if you're in a good live game that you have a big edge in, and if you're in a live game where you don't have a big edge, like what the hell are you doing? Like you should have a big edge in any live game, because like if you have half a brain and you've watched a few videos on this channel, you're already a crusher in that live game unless you just play in some unusually tough game. But the point would be, the variance takes a much bigger toll on you. This is super close, by the way, but you can open. Takes a way bigger toll on you over time, because like it takes a year to play like 20,000 hands. You're a full-time live player. You play like, what, 40 hours a week, let's say, and you play 20 hands an hour. So you play 30 hands an hour, so you play 1,200 hands a week, and you do that like 40 weeks of the year, or let's say you do it 50 weeks of the year. So you play 60,000 hands in a year. Do you even play that much? Yeah, I guess you play like 60k hands a year. That's like what online players play in a month. So it's like ridiculously low volume. Absolutely ridiculously low volume. And over like a period of a month, you might be playing like, I don't know, 5,000 hands. And that can just like be the worst 5,000 hands then, like very easily. So a whole month can feel like an eternal, horrible downswing. Online, that would be like a few days. You know, it's just like how elongated the variance is. Like one session, one day just means almost nothing. It just feels like the grind of being there for the day and then just leaving a few buy-ins down after like hours and hours of sitting in that environment with no windows. Man, that's not easy. I'm going to play a little bit of bet with this. I mean, this is almost a range check board, but you can play very small amounts of bet here, probably as long as you don't have a club with these overs, I believe. I rolled a 2 out of 100, so this is a super rare play. One of the things I try and avoid is like losing control of bet frequency on this board, because big blind can raise a lot. They have both range and nut advantage there, and they can apply a ton of pressure. So you need to keep your bets few and far between. You could also play a range check strategy there, which is definitely fine. So yeah, the elongated variance, the drawn out, stretched out variance, I find that really quite difficult to deal with. And it's something that, you know, I find online variance tough as well. I think everybody does. But at least you can amass a bigger sample if you're a professional poker player online a lot quicker. But still, I think sample size is a really misunderstood thing in general. And I think for live players, it's even more maddening. There's live players that are really deluded about their ability because one year they win a lot of money and that's only 50,000 hands that they've played. And as online players know, you can have a lot of different 50,000 hand samples. If you've ever put in 500k hands or something like that, and you look at your 50,000k stretches, you'll see that they do vary quite considerably. King 10 just not doing anything here. So you need to be kind of hardened long term. You need to be willing to show up and have like a few months of the year where things go badly. You need to understand things like your years are going to differ wildly as well. So one year you might win like 150k and the next year only 40k, even though you had the same win rate. That can definitely happen as well. Man, I've got this guy tagged blue, but I don't really know why. I mean, I don't know. It's just going to like remove the tag for now. I don't know who this player is. I've not done anything that looks blue. I don't know why I have so many blue tags that aren't actually recreationals. I think this is a full just about, but this is defending tournaments, right? Your tourney player, snap that 5-7 all day. What else? Why else do I hate live poker? Introversion. Introversion. This is the next reason I hate live poker. I'm actually quite an introvert, and I love having a lot of time to myself. I really like my own company, and I like going away myself and just playing golf. I like going on trips myself to play like chess tournaments and stuff like that. I like going for walks on my own, cycles on my own. I like just playing computer games on my own. I like spending time with friends, with my girlfriend, with family when I want to, like when it's scheduled in. But yeah, I'm actually both. Like, I'm an extrovert in that, like, if you put me in a group, I'll be sociable, and you put me around other people, I will talk till the cows come home. I will be really, like, I'll make an effort, and I'll be really extroverted around people sometimes. Depends on the environment, but one situation I'm not at all extroverted in is sat at a table with like a lot of strangers. So like if I'm at a table with like one person I know and 7 people I don't know, I'm going to be pretty quiet. Actually, I'm going to talk to the person I know. I'm not someone that's like really social in group situations. I much prefer my own wheelhouse and my own friend circles and stuff like that. So just introversion in general makes me not want to sit at a table with random people that much. I find it quite draining. I find it quite tiring if you're also introverted. Like I am in a lot of areas of life, you'll know that feeling of just feeling drained and taxed by having to just be around people. Like sometimes after work when I've been coaching all day, this doesn't happen quite so much anymore. I think this is just a pure call in this situation. That's a very nice flop. Shall we ever lead here? I don't think so. I think we just go for check raise. If only we had a stack to match the stack sizes of these players. These both look like recreationals, by the way. Yeah, I'm just going to range check here. Unfortunately, he snap checks back. And the board pairs how fortunes reverse, my friends. Huh? How fortunes reverse. I think we're just going to value bet. The speed of this flop check means that people are very rarely going to do anything here. I think just B75 is the best sizing on this node. If we get called, we'll probably overbet the river. There's like a ton of King X, some Jack X. Lower flush isn't impossible, but it's super unlikely. The people slow play a flush here is super unlikely. This guy is 32-6 though, so you never know. Introversion just makes it unappealing to be at a table full of people that I wouldn't choose to associate with in normal life. That's the other thing. Like when you jump into like a random 2-5 game in a casino, let's face it, there's a lot of people there that you wouldn't really choose to be around or spend much time around normally because they're just not like you. You don't have anything in common. Maybe they're like gamblers that are in the casino that are like interested in playing roulette and stuff, but they've just come to the poker table. And sometimes those people are fascinating. You meet some really cool people at the table. Like I met a guy that was like best friends with Paul Gascoigne and knew Cristiano Ronaldo and had all these stories from like working with football players and stuff. And that was like quite interesting. But generally, I don't enjoy the company of random people at the live poker games at the casino. I just don't. Home game, different story entirely. I can deal with a home game again because similar thing, like you chat to your friends and you have beer and whatever. I don't think I've played live poker without a beer for a very long time, actually. I don't think I ever would. That's a policy of mine. There's got to be some good beer and some good food if I'm going to sit in a casino and play live poker. So yeah, that's introversion. Point number 6. Let's play this king's hand, actually, then we'll come to it. This is probably, what is this? How are we in this hand? We 3-bet pre-small, didn't we? Yeah, 10-6-5, very high frequency bet here. I don't think I'll quite bet range. I might check this on a few rolls. I just rolled something really, really high. So I think I can check kings like occasionally, but it's going to be a super low frequency play. Against this turn lead, I don't think I really play much raise at all against its sizing. I think I just play call. Really good river. Of course, we're going to be calling a big bet, raising a smaller one here. We're going to have a value beater. We're going to beat things like jacks. I think we probably just jam here. I mean, he can have 10, 6s and 5s. Those just may bet bigger. You can also have queens and jacks. 10x, ace 10, things like that. This is kind of thin. It's kind of thin. 6s, 5s. I think there's just a bit too much 10x, jacks, queens here. I think we just have to make this. Yeah, I think this is fine. Okay, point number 6. There are just better games. And this is like maybe a weird thing to say as a poker coach on a channel that's all about trying to get people to like buy my educational content. And it's not that I hate poker. I really love it. I love what it's done for my life. I love the business that I've built. And I love this part of the game, like sitting, playing some online, chatting to you guys in a YouTube video, looking at Pile Solver, geeking out. I love all of that. Don't get me wrong. I love poker. But as the objective truth goes about which kind of games are best, I think, for example, my other passion, bridge, I think that technically, objectively, this is just a better game than poker by far. I just think bridge is a really cool game. And that doesn't mean that it's not worth playing poker. And of course, you can't really play bridge for money. Is this guy going to call? I feel like the longer people take here, the more likely they are just to call. Like, what on earth am I saying I have here? Yeah, okay, he just doesn't believe me. He's also going super greedy with the 8s here in that spot. So yeah, sometimes you jam river and you're like, man, if I jam, I'm just not going to get called by worse. People will just fold. But all it takes is for them to not believe you. So stop downsizing your value bets. Stop being nitty with the pots you build with your good hands. You can't afford to win small pots. All it takes when you have the nuts or a really good hand is for someone to just not believe that you have it, like in that situation. Then they can call whatever they want. They can call any bluff catcher, right? So yeah, there are better games out there objectively, in my opinion. I find Bridge a really, really fascinating game. It's weird though, because in some ways I find poker more interesting. And in other ways, I find Bridge more interesting. I think there are a lot of computer games these days that are really, really cool and really, really fun, and probably objectively more fun. If you could play them for money with variance, they would be more fun than playing poker, I think. But maybe I'm just a bit... like, poker's my job, so maybe I've just done it for so long that it doesn't quite have that new appeal, that nuanced appeal that some of these new games I get into have. But Bridge has a certain thing for me maybe as well because it's more social, and the people I meet in Bridge, like a lot of them are like older people and stuff, but it's kind of a nice vibe for the most part. You get some snooty people sometimes, but in the Bridge world, you also meet some nice people and you meet some friends and stuff like that. I play with my girlfriend. We played in a partnership for our whole relationship basically, which is really cool. I've got other friends that I have partnerships with, and you sort of learn how to gel together. It's a team game, which feels really good. Humans are kind of built to work in groups. Jack 9, I mean, I think we can play a bit of call, a bit of 3-bet here. This might be a little bit loose, but do you know what? Let's make it. We're coming to the end of the video now. Let's get into a pot with the Jack 9 suited. It's not clubs. It's not the Carrot Man hand. If you're watching this, by the way, and it's near the end of August or start of September, Grady is coming out very soon. That's our exploitative mass data-driven course. If you're watching this in September, it may already even be out. 873, I think Jack 9 can definitely do some c-bet here. With the gutter, it's going to do quite a lot of it. It's also going to check sometimes. I'm going to say it bets vast majority of the time. Well, more often than it checks anyway. Going to use big sizing here when I bet. I might use B75 actually at this SPR. Nah, I think I'll just stick to B60. I think it's fine. On certain boards, I'd use B75. See, where I had a bigger nut advantage, like 9 deuce deuce or something, where there's only one set making card and it's paired, for example, there I'd probably use B75. Let's play a 200 big blind pot before we start. That's right, I am the calculator nerd. I've worked out that sizing exactly. Villain knows it, hence the calculator throwable. He knows I'm all geeking out about flop sizing. He's got my number. There are, I think, objectively better games, but I'm hesitant to say that because I know I'm biased by the fact that poker's my job and Bridge is my thing I do in the evenings that I look forward to all day and shit like that. So it's hard to say. And I used to think chess was a good game, and now I kind of hate it temporarily. I've like fallen out of love with it. It's weird how your tastes change. Like, I used to watch a bunch of chess streamers and shit, and now I see chess streams and I'm like, unfollow that. I don't want to be notified that that's live, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, things change. I might at some point start grinding online poker again seriously, then I might say it's the best game in the world. So I do think, though, that as far as the game goes live, we are talking about live poker today, there are definitely far better and more fun ways to spend your time than sitting at a full ring poker table live. Like, that's got to be down there on the ways that you can spend your evenings and weekends. I just don't get how that's fun. But again, each to your own. Just going to set the sit out next big blind button here. Going to flat the ace 9 here against this recreational. Oh, I don't know, maybe this is not a recreational again. Like, we have these random blue tags at some point. No, this is the fucking reg. You just overbet the goddamn flop. I don't do very much raise against this. Is this a pure call now, ace 9? No, there's probably still some raise. I'm going to roll like 35% raise here. Mostly just going to call. 22.1. It's fine. Don't need to go super huge here. We're a little bit deep here, not massively deep. When calls, 10-8 gets there. We still have ace 9 though. I mean, there's just tons of stuff we're doing well against. We have the ace of clubs, which is not actually that great given we're drawing to a boat. With the ace, we kind of don't mind flushes getting there. I can bet or check here. Lightly bigger than I meant to go, but that's fine. I didn't really have a time bank. It's going to go like 29 or something like that. I think this is okay though. Acing jam, this gets pretty fucking awkward actually. Like, there's a few combo draws villain can have. I don't actually think I want to call a jam there at that stack depth. I don't think they're jamming worse if they're a decent player in position. They just wouldn't jam worse for value. It might be pretty underbluffed actually. I could maybe just bet fold there actually. Fortunately, it didn't come to that. I don't know. You look that one up in your solvers, guys. Let me know what they say. But if you like our content, do check out carrotcorner.com. Let me know what you think about the Play and Rant series. If you guys are keen on it, I'll definitely make more of it. It has more of a laid-back kind of stream feel. I almost feel like I'm streaming right now, recording it, but it's a load of fun. Little bit of 3-bet, little bit of call here, a lot of fold here. That's what we're going to do. Getting loads of free hands here, which is nice. We are setting out next big. Called by a blue tag here. I believe this one is maybe... No, I don't know if this is... I just don't believe any of my blue tags. I feel like my account was hacked one day, or my computer was, and someone just like my cat logged on and just tagged loads of regs blue to fuck with me and troll me. Obviously, we're checking range cutoff button on 1098. If you don't know that, shame on you. You don't deserve to play this fine game. But there are better games, but it's still a good game. But it's not as good as Bridge. Don't play Bridge until you're old, though. Maybe start before you're that old, because you don't want to be yet another person that was always shit at Bridge because they only got into it when they were ancient. 70-year-olds that take up Bridge, they don't do that well, honestly. What is this? Do I ever have to call here? Do I ever raise this hand? I don't think so. Do I ever have to call this? I probably do have to call this. Do I always have to call this? Probably. I probably do always have to call this. This is like got river check raise written all over it, doesn't it? Ace with the 8 with ace of hearts here. Do we get another free hand? Holy shit, stars. Just don't have to pay a big blind. This is what happens when you used to stream for a site. They just give you no big blinds. Look at that. It was like 9 hands in a row with no big blind. Anyway, guys, see you soon. Grady's coming out. Check out in Carrot Corner. It's going to drop very soon. You'll be able to watch all your videos on the site. Looking forward to the new streamable service there as well. And we have a subscription service coming in October. Videos from me and other coaches in our stable as well. Look forward to that. Any questions? Get in touch. Get in touch. support@carrotcorner.com. Go annoy my assistant. She'll happily answer any questions, or I will if it's something she can. So yeah, talk soon, guys. Much love. Bye for now.